Down, down, oh, down, down, down. What's up, everybody? And welcome back to the CJ Game World. Today I want to try something new on this channel, as lately I've tried my hand at a little something known as Fakemon creation. That's right. Starting today, I want to tell the still and work journey of my very own Fakemon region, which I have properly dubbed the Korlaya region. Now, I don't really got much of a map to really show off as it's still in work, but if this video does a good job, then I'll get the parts I'm done with finalized for the next episode. But as for today, I have been tasked by the professor of this region to deliver the starter Pokemon of Korlaya straight to your doorstep. Now, in the actual adventure, the professor will be the one bringing these straight to you in person, but since he's currently swapped in his work, and I haven't drawn him yet, he decided that I should be the one to come over, bring your starters, and be your own personal guide through the Korlaya region, as there's still many things that are gonna be unknown to you. Whenever we enter a new route, I'll be there to let you know about a new Korlayamon you can find on said route. Why did I just call them Korlayamon and not just, Fakemon? Well, the reason behind that is because I want others to know that the Fakemon you'll see in this series would have originated from Korlaya. Like Loxton is Lockymon. So if anybody wants to include any of my Korlayamon into their own regions, as like the returning Pokemon / Fakemon, whatever you choose it to be, they will know that they have came from Korlaya. Anyway, I think I've been jabbering on for a bit too long. It's about time I introduce you to the magnificent starters of Korlaya. Their box should be right over here. Ah, yes, here they are. Now, I don't know why the professor decided to put these strange markings on the Pokeballs, but I guess we'll figure that out in due time. Now, but nonetheless, it's time to choose which of these three starters will be your starter. In the green Pokeball, we have Bushhog, the Hedgewolf Korlayamon, a grass type. Bushhog are a very timid Korlayamon who choose to live in solitude as they fear the thought of becoming the easy prey. When Bushhog are frightened, they curl up into a ball and intensify their quills hidden deep within their bushy backsides. These quills are also very sticky and thus allows them to climb small trees. To get their daily dose of sunlight, Bushhog will sneak their way around until they happen to find a bush that's perfectly placed within the sun's beam of light. They will then curl up and camouflage themselves within the bush to hide from predators as they perform their photosynthesis. If you were to choose this guy as your starter, then I hope with all my heart that you'll be able to open its own heart. In the red Pokeball, we have Flintow, the Charred Bull Korlayamon, a fire type. The very soul of Flintow is said to be as strong as a ever-burning flame. With this fiery determination, they'll refuse to give up until the very end. When Flintow are feeling the thrill of battle, the flame on their tail will burn brighter and hotter the more excited they get. Flintow are told to originate from a faraway region, and were brought there to the Korlaya region to help take care of an infestation of Swayshell that invaded the local towns. They love to take part in a tough challenge. This is a very lovable Fakemon for trainers who just love to battle, as the two will sometimes feel like they are linked. But I hope that despite any issue that might stand in your way, you'll be able to keep that fire determination burning as you blast through any challenge alongside Flintow! Now, last but certainly not least, we have the blue Pokeball, who holds Shrimple, the Shrimp Korlayamon, a Water type. Shrimp are overconfident pests who choose to mock their opponent as they feel much more superior than the opponent can ever be, only to end up getting punched in the face right after. Yep, serves them right. If Shrimple were to accidentally get themselves backed into a corner with their own arrogance, they would always have a second pair of arms behind their back so they can unleash their secret weapon. While Shrimple are naturally known as a pretty weak Fakemon on land, it is a completely different story whenever they dive into the water, as they are excellent swimmers, being able to swim as fast and hit as hard as a torpedo! When given the room to get going, that is. They are so well renowned for this ability, in fact, that you'll be able to see at least one Shrimple blasting its way through a swimming contest. They became so good that they then got banned from these contests. Nonetheless, they will still try to sneak their way in to earn the satisfaction of becoming a champion. Sometimes to the detriment of their own trainer. Yeah, sounds like he kinda sucks. Now, this would be the hardest of the 3 stars for people to train with, which is kind of understandable. But if you chose this guy, even after everything I said, then I feel like you'll be more than capable enough to raise this little dude. And that's the base form of all 3 Korlayan starters. But don't think that I'm done talking about them just yet, as the usual way I would determine which starter I would ultimately choose would to see what they would evolve into, and see if they could complete my cute to cool criteria that I made up around Gen 9. Yeah. And luckily for you, I tried my best to do that exact thing. But for those who don't want to see what these guys evolve into just yet, please jump over to the chapter shown around here. Just skip over to the next non-starter Korlayamon in this episode, which should be the local fish Pokemon. Yeah. Alright, I'll give you time to do that. Alrighty, by now the people who didn't want to see the evolutions of these 3 should be gone by now. So now, for those who are still around and are curious to see what they turn into, it's time to feed these 3 some delectable rare candies and watch the magic happen. For those who chose Bushhog, you will now get Retrac, the Hedgewolf Korlayamon. A grass steel type? Ooh, interesting. Due to the size that Retracs have grew into, curling up is no longer an option of safety, and thus they become much more aggressive. Due to Retrac's more feral state, their spines are always put on edge, becoming so sharp that they become a living buzzsaw when curled up. When Retrac starts to panic, which is a likelihood all the time since it's always scared of everything, the sheer sensitivity of its own body jets out the spikes scattered across its body in a pointy fury. When they get stuck somewhere, especially in you, it'll be almost impossible to get them back out. So go to a doctor, please. Just go there and save yourself. Now, unlike the past mid-stage starters, the starters of Korlaya will be given access to the Paladin signature move that will match their battle styles once they are able to evolve. For Retrac, that would be Spin Out. For those who chose Flintel, you will now get Chargalok, the Charred Ball Korlayamon. A fire fighting style. Yep, that's right. Your fears have been confirmed. It's another firefight that what the world comes down to. But do you want to know something? I actually really like all three of the already existing Firefine stars, thank you very much! So I just felt like I had to make my own for Korlaya. But if I ever get to a point where I would make another region, I'll try to make a different combo. For all your sakes. Now, enough jabbering on, let's go on to the intro. I mean info. It's told that when Flintel evolved into Chargalok within their home region, yeah, that's right, they're not natives of Korlaya. They would have used up so much of their energy that their vitality would be left drained. But thanks to the ever-burning sun of Korlaya, all that extra heat is converted into extra fuel for Chargalok, giving them endless amounts of vitality and a blazing spirit that will never die. Chargalok's tail acts as both an extension of the user and as its own being, and so the two must work together as one to get out of it in the stickiest of situations. The tail is always active. The tail will always lift. And thus Chargalok will keep getting stronger, even when it sleeps. Just like Retrac, Chargalok will also learn a Paldean Sentry move upon evolution. But this time, it'll be the Raging Bull, the Sentry move of Paldean Tauros. Now, I saw that this move would usually change its type to the Sentry move to a Sentry type of which Tauros are using. But with this Fakemon, it would become a fighting type attack, just like how it was originally intended. Or at least I think that's how it's intended. And on to the last starter. For those who chose Shrimple, you will now get Shilakno, the Shrimp Korlayamon, a water psychic type. When evolving into Shilakno, their brains have grown greatly, and are now able to see the faults of their own actions, realizing that they weren't as powerful as they made themselves out to be, as they were battling the wrong way. And thus Shilakno intends to improve from their young mistakes by putting away their fists and using their secret shell cannons more often. Whether Shilakno are able to tap into their kingly final evo, or not, depends on if they are able to fully understand themselves as a species and work to improve any other faults they seem to hold deep inside. Just like us. Unworthy Shilakno will find themselves discouraging their own abilities, as they'll never figure out what it will take to evolve again. Even though Shilakno are known to discourage their own abilities, they are at their best when taking orders from their kingly evolution, as they band together as an army to take over undersea territory under the watchful eye of their all-powerful leader! While it may seem like evolving again may be the best outcome for Shilakno with all this command and glory of being a king, their growing shell says otherwise, as while they evolve, their shell keep getting bigger and bigger, slowing their swimming abilities more and more, until at some point they will get so heavy that they won't even be able to swim anymore. So for some Shilakno, not evolving is a blessing, as they can make use of the vast ocean to take advantage over foes that are usually faster than it on land. Now just like the other two mid-stage starters, Shilakno will also be able to learn their own Sentry move. This time being Girafareg's Twin Beam. The perfect move if I say so myself with those twin cannons. And with that, we are done with the mid-stage evolutions of our starter trio. Now, before we head into the final evos, for anyone who doesn't want to see them, I'm serious, please skip now, or else be forever spoiled! Now, let's pat down the remaining rare candies, so these three can reach level 36 and achieve their ultimate, final evolutions! For those who were able to conquer their fears alongside Bushhog, your Retracs will finally evolve into Fakemon, the Razor Wolf Korlayamon, a grass steel type. Fakemon are hardly seen in the wild, as like their younger years, they choose to live in solitude, but now it's out of fear of losing control over themselves. If they are beyond enraged, you better run, as their inner ferocity can bring great devastation. Fakemon are excellent acrobatics, blazing past forests with incredible speed. While humanity may be able to tame this beast, they can unleash a spinning attack so strong that they can cut through anything that gets in their way. Take this as a note as to not get in the way of a Fakemon whenever it's doing its speedrunning routine around the forest, or else you'll know what happens. Through the control that Fakemon has mastered over their own ferocity, they can be able to sheath sharp blades straight from the palms of their hands. Or from the backs, I ain't currently seeing the pictures. To keep these blades sharpened up, they will strike a mountain wall weakly with relentless fury. Cleavor will sometimes challenge them to the battle to test the willpower and endurance of these blades. These Korlayamon are very prideful and fight with honor. Fakemon blades are so refined that they can readily use with a mere touch. Its self-confidence from its final evil has made them seriously focus on defending their trainer and teammates as the Alpha Wolf. They tend to be surprisingly great with kids and baby Pokemon because of this. Now, to tell you the truth about that last entry, a Fakemon fan thought of that one, and I thought it was just so good that I just had to include it. I mean, did he not just hear it? It's very good. It answered the character. But yeah, this mighty warrior of the woods is gonna be your wonderful grass starter. They'll be focusing on using a bunch of rolling and slicing moves, as well as being able to learn a brand new sentry move that we have dubbed Shredded Spikes, where Fakemon will spin itself against the ground with so much speed and force that he would grind away any hazards that were placed on his side of the field, while also launching his own sail spikes directly into the opponent's face, damaging them while also laying down a free layer of spikes. Also, here's a little fun fact before we move on. Fakemon was actually inspired by the thought of turning Sonic into a Fakemon. Just thought I should tell you that. For those who were able to conquer every challenge they met alongside Flintel, your Chargalok will now become Emblazel. The blazing new Korlayamon! Embrace the standing ball! A firefighting type. Emblazel is embrace the blazing Nui that lied dormant within its own soul, allowing him to now unleash hidden fighting styles the likes of Korlaya has never seen before. While Emblazel's wings may be there just for show, his strength certainly isn't, as he can tear trees straight out of the ground and use them as weights. In fact, he's so strong that with one good punch, he can send a grown man far beyond the horizon. With how excited Emblazel can get during battle, it is so that his fiery mace tail can now be able to reach heat levels that are on par with the sun. Luckily, unlike Mac Hargo over here, the only way to feel the intensity is to get hit by it. And that's your fire starter, a absolute brute who has incredible attack stat, which he uses to pummel his foes straight into the ground. Once he evolves into this stage, he'll be able to learn a brand new signature move, known as the Blazing Bush! A super fast 150 damage move that involves priority with half accuracy. That's right, it's a 50-50 chance to hit this move. Sure, with this far past amazing attack stat, which I don't know how to correctly make, this move will always guarantee a quick O-Call if it hits. But if it doesn't, then he's going straight into Twisty Town, as he just ran himself into a wall like an idiot! Oh my goodness, what embarrassing spot to be in. Amazing risk reward signature move, if I say so myself. Just don't go using every turn unless you're really greedy for those satisfying OCOs. Now, for those who are able to discover their true potential alongside Triple, your Shelechno would evolve into the almighty leader of the species, the all-powerful Conquinior! The Shell King Korlayamon! A water psychic type. Since its evolution into Conquinior is so rare, whenever it does happen, they will be treated like kings of the species, as they lead armies of Shelechno to battle with their superior intellect and ultimate planning skills. Truly, a form most favorable. Since Conquinior are renowned as kings, they must now carry the weight of holding such a title, as their shell has grown into a titanous size. And while it may be able to block any attack, it is also surprisingly heavy, as you can see. Thus, they'll need to use their shell cannons as extra stilts, so they can even be able to move around. If they can get rolling from within their own shell, they will not be able to stop until they crash into something. Jeez, that shell, it may be powerful, but super unreliable. Ugh. A perfect set for a defensive Pokemon. Within Sea Wars against the Shelechno army, Conquinior would often be seen sticking to the very back, as he's the one commanding the horde. And if the horde were to fall, then this king would unleash his build-up power to finish off what remains of the resistance. But even with their brilliance in numbers, they would always fall whenever the Crawdont and Galampian families teamed up, as they would easily tear through the horde and overwhelm the leading Conquinior, forcing them to retreat each and every time. Such a shame. And that's Conquinior, a grand undersea king / conqueror that is also your war starter. You should be able to understand why Shrimple is so overconfident now. Anyway, he is a very defensive Korlayamon, who would rather hide within its safe shell while sniping down everyone with every opportunity he gets. Now, if he were to need more defensive power for himself or for a teammate he got out in a double battle, he's got the brand new signature move to back it up that we have dubbed the Psionic Shell, with the silent P, by the way. A status move that converts his psychic energy into a giant defensive shell wall that surrounds his side of the battlefield and will be able to boost your defenses from both physical and special attacks. In short, it's basically a reflect in the light screen at the same time. That will end after 5 turns. Pretty impressive for absolute genius, is it not? Oh! Gluttozoid approved! But yeah, those are your 3 starter Korlayamon. Be sure to type down who you would choose as your starter in the comments below, as well as any nice ideas that could help revamp Bushhog's mid-stage into something better. As I have been a bit nervous about that one, and I'm uncertain on how I should alter it if I need to. Oh, and be sure to leave your overall thoughts about the trio in the comments below, as well as how you would rank them, as I just want to know how good or bad my Korlayamon are. Anyway, it's about time we put you through a little test before we even start your Korlayan journey. Sadly, I didn't bring any of my own Korlayamon with me, as they would have been way too strong for someone like you at the moment, with your level 5 starter Pokemon of the trio type. But luckily, before I left the lab, the professor let me borrow his fishing rod, as well as requests me to give you a few Pokeballs, as he trusts that you already know what to do with them. And hey, if you're new, it would be a great learning experience. So, here you go. 1 free bag full of 10 Pokeballs. Alright, now just sit tight and let me fish up a weak little guppy for your preps. Oh my god, he's already here! You hear that, trainer? That's your cue! Get the Pokeballs ready as you're about to witness your first battle in Korlaya! Give it your all! Well, once you look at that, we managed to fish up the region's Magikarp clone. But just because we call him that, don't go thinking that it'll be that easy, as you now face Galactuline! The blue slug Korlayamon, a water type. Galactuline are born with the dormant electric sac planted deep within their bodies. If fished up to land, these sacs would send a powerful, unstable shock that to anyone it touches through to their soft, transparent bodies. Fishermen in Korlaya have reported to see Galactuline everywhere they fish. And the reason behind that is because they love the small buzz they feel from grabbing the bait of a fishing pole. And so they are known to stick around the easy locations where fishing will peak. While Galactuline may be tiny, they have been known to act like the ocean's mini battery, being a free regenerator for any drained electric or water electric type, or whoever electric type he meets in the ocean. Better take it down quickly, or catch it before it stings you too, trainer! Now, this battle would act like a small tutorial of itself, teaching you about disadvantages and advantages based on which of the 3 starters you chose. But if you're an experienced player, then you can end it quickly by just throwing a Pokeball, as just like any Route 1 Pokemon, their catch rate is extremely high. Now, of course I made sure that even in a fight against a water type, this one specifically, Flint-style trainers wouldn't be absolutely terrified of losing their first hypothetical Nuzlocke in the first battle, as this Galactuline will only know the 2 basic beginner moves: Tail Whip and Tackle. Can't get any more basic than that. So no matter which starter you choose, you're gonna have an easy time disposing this Korlayamon. Or if you want to catch it a little early, and I mean like earlier than you could get a fishing rod, you could do that too. But as for this adventure, we'll be catching this Korlayamon for future use. Great job, trainer! You were amazing in your first battle! I guess the professor was right to put his trust in you after all. I mean, even I was a little nervous the slugger was gonna catch ya. What am I saying? Of course he won't be able to touch you, because you are awesome! I see you were also able to catch him, and on your first try too, but don't feel too sorry about that one, as it's very common amongst any earlier out Pokemon. Sorry to burst your bubble like that. Anyway, I would suggest keeping that Galactuline on you for later. Train him up every now and then, as I heard he can evolve into the great icon of the Korlaya region. Wait, you don't know what the icon of Korlaya is? Wait, it's Galactuline! The blue dragon Korlayamon, a water electric type. I mean, seriously, who would forget a face like that? Oh, it's cute. And it can be cool at times, which is why it's an icon. Galactuline are an energetic race that evolved to live on land without the need for water. The only reason they would search for pools to play around in is to keep their electricity flowing throughout their bodies. They could conduct energy straight from their electrical sac as a form of protection. If you see a Galactuline laying on their backsides on the water, then they are converting the sun's heat into electrical energy, and it would be best not to disturb them, as it could send them into a mighty discharge when panicked. Before electricity was evolved in their bodies of Glockonaco, they used to attack Tentacruel as they were immune to their poison, and thus they could take the stingers they needed for evolution. But ever since the Tentacruel fled to another region, probably to the Kanto region, the Glockonaco evolved to include electric sacs into their bodies. Now, you may think his evolution stops there, but don't you worry, fellow trainer. In due time, he'll become something much more awesome. But not right now. For now, this is where we will end off this episode. I hope you enjoyed this starting episode of Korlaya, and please be sure to tell me which starter you would choose, as well as if you decide to take care of the free Galactolin you got from the practice match, down in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the episode, and be sure to smash that subscribe and bell button! Oh, my idea. Where was I? Alright, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell button if you don't want to miss out on when the next episode comes by. I personally hope this episode can find its footing, so I can show off more of my Fakemon. Anyway, that should be all. Have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, or night, as I'll see y'all next time! Peace!